been teaching Spanish at the high school level for 22 years. And this year I'm teaching an 8th grade class for the first time in middle school.
Yes, and that's the class that we.
That's the class that we read. Okay. Let's start with Audrey. ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? Cameron, will you let her? Es el 5. Hoy es el 5 de octubre del 2021. Muy bien. Alright, so they asked Paco, ¿te gusta más ver la tele o usar la computadora? And Paco chose what? Usar la computadora. And so, which one are you choosing? Which one do you prefer, Madison? Me gusta más ver la tele. So yours will be whichever one you like. Okay, now does everybody understand? All right, I'm gonna let the other ones play. Go, read it together with your partner. Hold on, figure it out.
No me gusta incorrecto.
So thinking back on your lesson, they've had time to reflect on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst lesson that has ever happened in your classroom, and 10 being like, they should film me for the movies. How did you feel about that lesson?
It was average. I would say it was about a 5, 6.
Okay. What did you like about the lesson?
I like that my students are willing to do the partner practice, and they actually practice speaking with each other to get better in the language, and they're very willing participants. So I enjoy the students the most.
So you said the lesson was like 5, 6 for you. What would change that would move it closer to that 10 level?
I just feel like I always have room for growth, and to make things, I can always make things better. It's just finding time to bring in.
And then, what would the students, is there anything the students would be doing differently, in your opinion, like if the class were a 10 level class?
Yeah, I had some boys who were chatty, and I have a girl who the last few days has been checking her appearance, and she'll open her Chromebook and it's nothing, it's a blank screen, but she's using it as a mirror.
So in your class, if the kids were more on task, I guess, in the chatting, what would that look like, or how would the activities be designed to help them be less chatty, I guess would be.
Well, they picked their own seats because they are very good students, and I have not ever put them in a seating chart on my own. So I could combat that easily by letting them, by putting them in a structured seating chart. But I just enjoy them so much that it doesn't slow down their learning, but it does slow down the pace of the class. And so if I were to move them, I could go a little bit faster.
If we're talking about maybe having students more time on task during that, so these chatty kids, is there a way we could measure that?
I think it would just be teacher observation.
So would there be something that specifically that you could use, like, to mark? Do you think, like, how would you measure that if you're, let's say you had set a goal, like, I'm gonna have these kids be more time on task, like, how would you report that, you think?
I guess if I were to keep track of how many times I had to say voice, or be quiet, or back on task, you know, if I were to keep like tick marks.
Do you think that you would want that to be your goal, like having these kids have more time on task?
I think it's a good goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that were like, so if that were your goal and you could reach that, do you think that, like, is that something that would matter to you? Like, do you think it would make a difference?
Yeah, I think so, because we could, like I said, we could go faster and just get more done. And obviously, the more practice time we have in the classroom, the better they're going to grow in the more they're going to grow in the language.
So if we were to set that as a goal, like for these, and I would guess it's just these specific students, because it sounds like the majority of your students, and what I observed was the majority of them are on task, like they're supposed to be, and they're engaged, and you could hear it in the video. What teaching strategy do you think you would use to, because obviously you're probably not going to tell the kids, like, hey, I'm going to be like checking you with tick marks. Like, what teaching strategy do you think you could use to help them stay on task?
Proximity helps a lot. You know, standing over on that side of the room. It's obviously a seating chart if I were to move them away from their best friends, you know, because I only have 5 boys in that class, and so the 4 of them sit there next to each other, and they're really good friends. So just a seating chart and proximity while they're supposed to be doing the different activities. Four boys to spend more time on task. What would be your next steps for that, like to implement that in your classroom? To implement it, I would have to make a seating chart and move them away from each other and spread them out amongst the other students in the room.
Would that be something you'd be comfortable measuring, like the ticking, like just kind of following?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. I think that sounds like a good goal, because it did seem like the class was really engaged and they know their stuff. So
They,
it's like,
they were very engaged, and they enjoy.
And stuff is so important in Spanish, and sometimes if they get a little bit off track, they're missing some of that because they think they have it a lot of times.
Yes, and then it's like you don't always have it.
Yeah, it's like you have it now because it's fresh, but if I were, you know.